interest in drama. I did a little bit of writing myself. I was a journalist in a local newspaper when I was younger. So I always had an interest in what was going on stage and things. Then my eldest son became, passionate about performing from a young age. So I was always sort of thereabouts, taking him to drama lessons and things like that. So I was always on the outskirts and supportive. And then he got to 18, went off to university, got his degree in drama performance, and my interest sort of grew. I hooked up with Belvedere, showed me his drawer full of amazing plays, and it just went from there, really.
Yeah.
Must get this seen by an audience, not gathering dust in a drawer. And it was just a matter of getting it out there, finding actors. You just learn step by step the ways. Get a venue, get a cast, you go onto Spotlight, you find ways of funding things, get people on board that will help you.
Do you think the experience of one of your children being special needs, that sort of teaches you?
Oh, definitely.
You just got to get in there and do it.
Oh, very much so. Having had my son Sam, and I've always had to fight for every single thing, and always never seeing his problems as a problem. We just live with it. So anything else, to me, if you want it, you go out and get it. He has problems. They're normal, everyday things for me now. So you overcome those, and if you overcome that in your everyday life, you can overcome anything. So everything's possible. Never think things are not possible, and you're not too old to learn new things. It's very easy. You find a good script, and I was very lucky to have that as a base. Find good scripts, good actors. In the beginning, you had to find actors who are not ridiculous and think they're there to make a lot of money. No prima donnas. They have to realise that it's something that's grassroots level, especially in arts. There is no money out there. You either sit at home and you don't perform, or you do get the opportunity to show your wares and show what you can do, and get out there on the stage, and slowly, things start to develop. And then the WAG phenomenon happened last year, which brought everyone into sort of focus, which has helped with my production company, which I can call it now, because now I have other productions.
You produced something.
I have produced a couple of shows now. I'm producing another one in Manchester in March, Taste of Honey in King's Arms in Salford, which is going to be quite an interesting production. My son is directing it, and he's in it.
Fantastic.
Charlotte Dawson, Les Dawson's daughter, is going to play the lead role of Jo, and it's going to be done in a very creative way. The audience are going to be sitting round the bed sit where all the action is happening. They're going to be part of the scenery, really, literally sitting in on the conversations that are going on. So that's going to be quite exciting. Sheila Delaney, who wrote Taste of Honey, died last year, and her daughter now owns her estate and gave us permission to do it. And the family are a great fan of Les Dawson's. That's all quite exciting. I'm quite excited for that.
The first thing that brought you to producing was Belvedere.
Was Belvedere scripts.
Yeah, I think you said before, it's like somebody who is writing great roles for women.
And you would imagine Belvedere is a woman. A lot of people don't realise, because he writes from the aspect of a woman.
I think because he loves women.
Yes, definitely. And he knows what makes them tick. He knows their weaknesses, he knows their strengths, so he knows exactly how to think like a woman. I think most women would say that there aren't great parts written for women, whether you're in your 50s or whether you're in your 20s. If you think on television, most things are based around male leads.
Yes.
But emotionally, it's always seen from a male perspective and not the female perspective. And I think his scripts are very much based around how a woman feels and how men treat women and how it makes them feel.
Yeah, the repercussions.
Yeah. This is Karen Struwell-White, and you're listening to Radio Gorgeous.
Yeah. It's really nice to accept, embrace, and almost celebrate the complexities of being a woman.
Yes. I think it's cool to have hormones, to want children, not to want to have children. I think in TikTok Body Clock, it covers all those aspects. They pretend they don't want to have children. They pretend they don't want to be married. They want to be the good time girl. They want to be the independent woman. woman on the outside, but on the inside, all they want is a man to cuddle up to at night and a baby to rock in their arms. But I think society, to a certain extent, expects women to be like that now, independent or good time girl. But I think most women would probably say that's not the case, really.
Okay, so WAG went from a rehearsed...
From a 3-week fringe production.
Yeah.
It's now being produced by Peter Frostick Productions in the Charing Cross Theatre, and we have Tim Baven, who is playing the lead male role. He's an Olivier-winning actor. He's the first person to be cast, so yeah, he's the first American to ever have won an Olivier Award.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, here we go. That's really exciting.
That's very exciting. I'm advising on that as I can bring certain things to the show to assist Peter.
Okay, and is that one of the reasons that also that he was chosen as one of the producers, that he would still be involved? I imagine if it went to one of the huge people, that you'd be like, okay, see you guys later, thanks, we know better.
Yeah.
You know.
He's been very welcoming and, I suppose, appreciative of what was created last year, and knowing that it could be built on further on down the line for his production and hopefully the tour that will transpire afterwards.
Fantastic. That's an incredible and hopefully wildly successful, but already an incredibly successful and fulfilling, project to have nurtured and brought on and produced. Where are you with TikTok Body Rock, and where do you hope to bring that to?
Well, TikTok gets its rehearsed read with brand new songs from Orna Clement, April the 19th in Walthamstow, where WAG first staged. We're doing a rehearsed read, basically a collection of actors playing the roles, but just reading the scripts. It's not a full production. A rehearsed read for Belvedere, really, is to hear the script read, because sometimes the script can be read and he says, oh, that doesn't quite work. And because we've got new songs, how the songs fit in, where the songs will fit in, and really to make it gel together. And Orna and Belvedere will get together afterwards, compare notes, and then have a finished script with the songs placed in it, and then we go hopefully to production then.
Wow.
Once all that's gelled together, we'll be looking for a place to stage TikTok.
Wow. Very exciting. Thank you for talking to Radio Gorgeous, Karen.
And thank you for having me.
WAG the Musical is coming to the Charing Cross Theatre in July, and we await developments for Shag and Sag.
Follow us on Twitter, radio_gorgeous. Lots of love, darlings. Mwah. Thank you so much for listening to Radio Gorgeous. I really appreciate you tuning in. And if you want to hear more, you can always sign up on our website, and we promise we'll only send you one email a week. And it will give you all the details of the shows and up-and-coming shows and special offers. You are listening to a Radio Gorgeous production. For more, go to radiogorgeous.com. Thank you very much to my co-host Donna Freed and editors Harriet and Bree. Goodbye.
audiobookradio.net. Just imagine. Come in all shapes and sizes, but for many there is one who rises above them all. Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. Greg Wagland brilliantly narrates another cracking mystery. Sit back, have that cuppa, and enjoy Greg reading Sherlock.
A Magpie Audio production. The Adventure of the Six Napoleons. It was no very unusual thing for Mr. Lestrade of Scotland Yard to look in upon us of an evening, and his visits were welcome to Sherlock Holmes, for they enabled him to keep in touch with all that was going on at the police headquarters. In return for the news which Lestrade would bring, Holmes was always ready to listen with attention to the details of any case upon which the detective was engaged, and was able occasionally, without any active interference, to give some hint or suggestion drawn from his own vast knowledge and experience. On this particular evening, Lestrade had spoken of the weather and the newspapers. Then he had fallen silent, puffing thoughtfully at his cigar. Holmes looked keenly at him. "Anything remarkable on hand?" he asked. "Oh, no, Mr. Holmes, nothing very particular." "Then tell me about it." Lestrade laughed. "Well, Mr. Holmes, there is no use denying that there is something on my mind, and yet it is such an absurd business that I hesitated to bother you about it. On the other hand, although it is trivial, it is undoubtedly queer, and I know that you have a taste for all that is out of the common, but in my opinion it comes more in Dr. Watson's line than ours." "Disease?" said I. "Madness, anyhow, and a queer madness, too. You wouldn't think that there was anyone living at this time of day who had such a hatred of Napoleon I that he would break any image of him that he could see." Holmes sank back in his chair. "That's no business of mine," said he. "Exactly, that's what I said. But then when the man commits burglary in order to break images which are not his own, that brings it away from the doctor and on to the policeman." Holmes sat up again. "Burglary? This is more interesting. Let me hear the details." Lestrade took out his official notebook and refreshed his memory from its pages. "The first case reported was 4 days ago," said he. "It was at the shop of Morse Hudson, who has a place for the sale of pictures and statues in the Kennington Road. The assistant had left the front shop for an instant when he heard a crash, and hurrying in he found a plaster bust of Napoleon, which stood with several other works of art upon the counter, lying shivered into fragments. He rushed out into the road, but although several passers-by declared that they had noticed a man run out of the shop, he could neither see anyone, nor could he find any means of identifying the rascal. It seemed to be one of those senseless acts of hooliganism which occur from time to time, and it was reported to the constable on the beat as such. The plaster cast was not worth more than a few shillings, and the whole affair appeared to be too childish for any particular investigation. The second case, however, was more serious and also more singular. It occurred only last night. In Kennington Road, and within a few hundred yards of Morse Hudson's shop, there lives a well-known medical practitioner named Dr. Barnicoe, who has one of the largest practices upon the south side of the Thames. His residence and principal consulting room is at Kennington Road, but he has a branch surgery and dispensary at Lower Brixton Road, 2 miles away. This Dr. Barnicoe is an enthusiastic admirer of Napoleon, and his house is full of books, pictures, and relics of the French Emperor. Some little time ago he purchased from Morse Hudson 2 duplicate plaster casts of the famous head of Napoleon by the French sculptor Divine. One of these he placed in his hall in the house at Kennington Road, and the other on the mantelpiece of the surgery at Lower Brixton. Well, when Dr. Barnicoe came down this morning, he was astonished to find that his house had been burgled during the night, but that nothing had been taken save the plaster head from the hall. It had been carried out and had been dashed savagely against the garden wall, under which its splintered fragments were discovered. Holmes rubbed his hands. "This is certainly very novel," said he. "I thought it would please you. But I've not got to the end yet." Dr. Barnicle was due at his surgery at 12 o'clock, and you can imagine his amazement when on